Hey besties, welcome back to another episode of Dare to Overshare, where oversharing is a love language. At least it is for me. And for you guys watching and listening, I know you love when we talk candidly about all sorts of things. And today, my guest is Kaitlyn Herman. She is a life coach, which is exciting. I'm excited to talk about that. And also she was on one of my favorite shows, A Big Brother, back in the day. I'm such a big fan of reality TV. You guys know this. So thank you so much for saying yes and agreeing to come on.
Of course. I do have to ask you, why is Big Brother one of your favorite shows?
Oh, okay. I mean, I watched it since I was 10.
Okay.
I'm almost 36. By the time this episode comes out, I probably will be 36, which is crazy. But I just grew up liking, I guess, the psychology behind why people do and say the things they do and say.
Totally.
And reality TV was a way for me to get that scripted TV doesn't have.
Sure.
So I grew up watching Big Brother, Survivor, The Challenge, and now I'm watching all the dating shows like Love Island, Love is Blind, all those things. And it's just so interesting to see how people just are.
Yeah.
You know?
And I'm guessing you've become friendly with some of the people.
Yeah.
So what do you feel is the biggest difference between meeting someone IRL and then watching them?
Oh my God, so much. I just feel whenever you're watching a show, everything's edited, and it's you only get to see what the producers want you to see.
Sure.
So if you do have a lot of dramatic moments, or if you do have a lot of funny moments, they're gonna show a lot of those. But then when you see someone in real life, it's you can also sense energy that you can't sense on a TV show.
Totally.
And the energy in real life is so fun for me to just be this is actually who you are. And that's why I love
100%.
having this podcast, because I get to just ask people things about who they are without the you're on this specific show.
You make a very good point where it's the character that's not being seen is the energy that's in the room. So there are so many instances where everything that's happening on the show is exactly how it's going. And for Big Brother, there's not a lot. There's so many people that make excuses for themselves when they get off the show. And yes, there's editing, but for the most part, the way you were behaving was completely accurate. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely hate when people get home and they're there's a lot you don't see. True, but the stuff you did see happened.
Right, it still happened.
And they make so many excuses for it, which was my favorite part of coming off of Big Brother was people thought I was on one in there. And they were concerned when I come out that they were oh my God, she's not going to be okay. She's going to double down. The first thing I did when I came out was oh my God, guys, that was bad. That was really, really bad what happened in there. And I just think nobody takes accountability for anything. But that is the one thing that nobody talks about, the energy in the room. So they're oh, he doesn't feel that way or she doesn't feel that way. The energy's screaming all the time, and you cannot see that.
It's
through
so
the TV.
subtle. Yeah, you can't
so
see on
subtle.
TV if you're having a conversation. You know that saying you can cut tension with a knife?
Yes.
You can sometimes feel that as a viewer watching
totally.
the show, but a lot of what you can feel with the editing, it's oh, they'll play certain music to make you feel tension.
Oh, my favorite.
They'll play something, but it's or they'll put crickets to make you feel.
Or the kooky girl in the corner meditating. Yeah, that was me. I always got that music.
Yeah,
so
and
stupid.
in real life, you don't have that. You have the actual real life energy. So
totally.
That's why I do love meeting people IRL.
Yeah.
And just getting a feel for, who they are. And so I do want to start off with a vibe check.
Sure.
So how are you feeling? How's just your energy, your life? How's everything going?
Very aligned. Very good. Successful.
Good.
And cool. Yeah.
Successful and cool.
Yeah. Just very at peace, I guess, would be the best way to put it. I think for a long time, I was going through parts of my life that felt very confused and chaotic and just kind of rolling with it and not actually centering in. But vibe check today, aligned and cool and at peace.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so let's start with an overshare. So the bulk of the show, we want to talk about whatever it is that you feel that you want to overshare about. Maybe it's something that you've talked about before. Maybe it's something that you don't really talk about or post about on your personal socials.
Okay.
Just something that you feel you could get off your chest and
oh my God,
talk about.
Any topic.
Any topic. Nothing's off limits here.
Okay, the first thing that comes to mind, and it's absolutely irrelevant to me. I'm just a spectator in this. This is kind of an overshare. Maybe it's not. I don't know. I'm not like an Elon fan, okay? I'm not an Elon Musk stan whatsoever. I'm getting very annoyed by the people that have the stickers on their Teslas that say like anti-Elon Tesla driver. Do you know what I'm talking about? Have you guys seen
just in my garage?
No, I didn't, but I've seen them like 3 times just driving here.
I did. There's for sure by the elevator in my garage. There
one of them
one that says, "I got this before it went crazy."
Here's where I'm at with that. I think it's actually insane that we've come to a point where, again, I don't like Elon, but it's not the first thing that comes to my mind when I see a Tesla in LA to be like, they are supportive of the Republican Party. Like, that's not even crossing my mind. He made a great product. A lot of people liked it. I've never driven one, so I don't actually know, but people like it. I don't need you to advertise the fact that like you don't mess with him, but you're still driving the car. Like, it's nobody's business. I don't care. I'm not thinking twice. And by the way, if you are someone watching this that is judging someone, if you see a Tesla on the street and you don't see that sticker and you're like, they're not enough. Like, actually enough, because it's just a bit too far. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's a little weird.
And I have nothing to say other than I agree with you.
Thank you.
I mean, like, exactly what you said about, oh, it's a great product and people like it because of what it is. I have driven one. I have test driven one before. It drives really well.
Beautiful.
I don't have one. I don't want one, but it drives really well.
And that's what it is.
And the only reason, it's funny, the only reason that I don't want a Tesla has nothing to do with the fact that Elon made it. It's because it's too minimalistic for me on the inside. As you can see, I kind of like...
Yeah, you want style.
I like a little spice.
Sure.
I like buttons and knobs and things like that. It's a little minimalistic. And that's literally my reasoning for not wanting a Tesla. But I have friends who have Teslas and they're great cars.
Yeah.
But I do see that sticker a lot. And I do think that people that are putting that sticker on,
they have a fear of being judged.
Yes, they don't want. They also have a fear of their car getting keyed or their car getting blown up.
That's a really good point.
Because I do have an acquaintance, like a friend of a friend, who has a Tesla, and he parked. No, sorry, he doesn't have a Tesla. He parked his whatever car he has on the street, and he posted a story. There was a Tesla parked behind him.
Okay.
Somebody like lit it on fire and it blew up. And so my friend's windows in his car shattered because of what happened to the car behind him. Okay. So I can understand the fear that people have in a democratic state like California to put that on. And it's like, don't touch my car, please. Like, they're almost scared. But then some of them are obviously doing it because they don't want to be judged. But some of them, I think, are terrified to like get their car messed.
Wait, but take it a step further, right? So who would be the person? What type of person would be the one that blows up the car? It would be someone that hates Elon, which means that they would be a Democrat, which I am too. So like now Democrats are invoking violence. Like what does that mean? Like, aren't we supposed to be like the exemplary people?
This is why politics are...
It's just complicated.
Is a strong word, but I hate politics.
Yeah, it's all... But also, just to call out my own shit, as we're sitting here, I'm thinking like, oh, like separate the art from the artist, but like the most hypocritical thing I'll ever say is, no, we should not separate Kanye and his music. Like, no, I won't support either. So like, in one hand, I'm like, separate the art from the artist with Elon, but don't separate the art. Like, I'm a hypocrite. So all of this to say, I might take it back. Like, I have come full circle, I suppose. But it's just what I'm feeling. My overshare is that one applies and one doesn't. And by the way, that's allowed. I'm allowed to feel one way about something and one way about another. And quite frankly, I might change my mind next week.
Yeah, and that's beautiful because
Thank you.
Kanye, for example, I talk about this a lot with people I know. I think Kanye is a genius in some ways. I think he does have really good music. I just recently sold my Yeezys because I didn't want to wear them, but
sure, good idea.
Really good merch and products and all this stuff. And I do think behind his wild mind, there is somewhere in there is a, nice man who just wants to be loved, because that's usually the case is people that act out, they just want to be loved.
Yeah.
And obviously after his mom died, like it just got worse and worse. But it is so hard for me nowadays. Like I really can't turn on any new music that he has because I just associate it with all the bad things he's spewing. But like, if an older Kanye song comes on, I'm gonna rock to it because it's so good. And to be fair, like this is gonna be quite a hot take, and I might get canceled for this. But like if Ignition Remix comes on by R. Kelly, like I'm so sorry, but I'm gonna sing along.
No, by the way, same. Because it's unfortunately,
song, and I don't support him, and it's horrible. But I will still be like, I'm sorry, because
what are we gonna do? Not?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, I don't know. It's
tough.
Thing, but I will never judge somebody for not separating the art and the artist and being like, oh, like I'm not listening to this person. I mean, just take this. Just a half a year ago or something, I went to go see Chris Brown in concert, and like I got some hate for it on the internet. Why would you go support him? All this stuff. And I'm like, well, he did a bad thing. He hasn't since that I know of. I think he feels really bad about it. He's a change. You can change, right?
And I hold space for that too. By the way, I'm hoping that Kanye changes, because as a Jewish woman, like at the end of the day, optics aren't great, and he's like really, really.
He's too, by the way.
So. Oh, really? Yeah. Amazing. Yeah, he's not. And I was like a major fan.
Every religion and every race, like he's just kind of like crazy about
everything. Yeah, he's polarizing.
Just a statement. And
totally.
Like, he has like his album, I think that I don't know if it's out or it's coming out. I don't follow him enough to know, but it's called Bully or something like that. So it's like he's marketing himself as being that.
Totally.
So behind all of that, there is a ploy for marketing. He's like, let me say the craziest thing so nobody forgets who I am. Because otherwise he'll be forgettable.
It's just he's so irresponsible. I mean, like, he has Jewish nieces and nephews. Like, Scott Disick's kids, I mean, they're Jewish. Like, imagine saying all those things and then like your kids' cousins. Like, aren't you Uncle Ye? Like, it just makes it makes no sense, to be fair. But all this to say, I guess separate the art from the artist when you're in the mood.
When it applies to you.
When it applies to you and you feel like being hypocritical, but just be self-aware, I guess, in the fact that you are being a hypocrite.
Yeah, and I think every person is allowed to decide what they like and why, or what they don't want to listen to and why.
Absolutely.
And that the self-awareness is the key, because it's like if you're sitting there and saying, yes, I'm being a hypocrite right now, but it's okay because that's how I feel, then who's to stop you?
I agree. I totally
like that too with certain things.
Good.
Those were some good. I mean, overshares are hot takes, because the next segment is called Hot Take, which is also basically like
the same thing.
We're doing hot takes right now.
Okay, so then the overshare would be more personal, I suppose.
It can be, but I mean, I'm not a stickler for rules, so we can break the rules and just do a bunch of hot takes, and that's completely acceptable here.
Well, I'm wondering at what point, because let's be so for real, you are going to want to talk Big Brother stuff at some point.
I'm here to talk about what you want to talk about.
I haven't done a podcast in forever, so I'm kind of like, do I take this opportunity to, you know what? I'll say something.
Yeah, it's your opportunity. We're here.
No, by the way, you're welcome, because this is going to be, I'll give you my hot take. It's been so long. Or the overshare, whatever the hell segment this is. I don't know. But I'll tell you, it's been so long since I was on that show, and there's been so much that has happened since then. But I'm in a newer relationship as of a little less than a year, and reintroducing someone to that side of my life and him watching it, and it brings up a lot of things. So rewatching it brings up some, not anger, but realizations about all of it.
So how many years ago now?
I was on the summer of 2018. So we're coming on 7 years, which is literally insane. Mm-hmm. And I was 24 when I played, and I'm 30 now. So a lot of life has happened in between that. But one thing, without naming names, because I'm truly healed, we're past this, but I just found it interesting in the climate we're in. And you've been watching Big Brother for a while. So tell me why we celebrate vindictive men so much in this society. For example, without naming names, picture me. We all know how I showed up on the show. I mean, I was just young and stupid. I thought I knew it. Are we allowed to curse?
Yeah.
I thought I fucking knew everything about anything. And to be fair, looking at it back now, I'm like, that's really sweet. Like, she didn't mean any harm. She was just being annoying. I feel genuinely like on my season, there was a particular person that was celebrated for being a good player, a really great player, but stepped over a really severe line with me and noticed vulnerability in people, which is a game. I get it. But took it really massively too far with me, to which my relationship ended outside of the house. Relationships ended inside the house. It's just, if you're really, I don't think that there should be a celebration on taking advantage of people. And
even on a show where you're saying, like, obviously in real
no, he can. Like, anyone can. Anyone can take advantage of anyone. It's a show. But America's favorite player, when like I'm home dealing with all of the pieces that are being picked up, I was hands down, anyone from my season can answer, I was the one that got the most hate. Hands down, without a doubt. And I have to go home pre-jury, have my phone back, try to pick up the pieces of my life, get the help that I need. And we're celebrating the actions, America's favorite player, of someone that didn't take accountability for the ways in which he took advantage of my vulnerability. Call it good game playing, call it whatever you want to call it. It was just really hard to watch as like an older version of myself, rewatching it, going back.
Watching it recently, right?
Yeah.
As you said. So that's really interesting. I would love to know how does it feel? Is this the first time you've watched it back since like 7 years ago?
I watched it back like very soon after, maybe like right before COVID, I guess. But yeah, this is the first time since then. And the first time watching it with someone needing to like explain who the people are and what's going on. And
that gives me secondhand anxiety to like sit with like your
partner. I have to explain.
And I'm sure like he understands, like, this is an older version of you. Like, you're obviously different now and all these things. But like, it must be so crazy for you to be like, oh, I did that because, or I said that because.
The best part about my partner though, Mike, is that I didn't have to do any of that, because we both sat there and just it really is very funny for me to watch it back now, because I don't have any like attachment towards it. I'm just like, oh my God, this is so sad. But so adorable, and look how far I've grown. But that was like, that's been the main thing coming up of like, wow, let's not doubt when someone's good at the game, because that's evident and that's clear. But it just made me rewatching it very sad for that younger version of myself that felt like, oh, there was a chance that I was going to be with this guy. And I was like leaving everything at home for him. And then you get voted out, and then you have to watch him fall in love and then get engaged to someone else on my season. I'm really like breaking the stop. Everyone like from our season and my life knows that kind of dynamic that happened. But yeah, it was just a bit too far, because again, you don't see things that happen like energy wise. You don't see like a foot being tapped under a blanket or handhold. You don't see any of it. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, you see like little old me, like erratic as hell. And then you see diagrams of like the strategy. And if that is true, if everything was strategy and it wasn't real, maybe a little too far. Maybe if you saw what was happening, maybe a little too far. That's my hot take. Sorry.
No, I love that too, because you're right. Because even a show like Big Brother, I think some people will argue, well, you do see everything because there's live feeds and it's recorded 24/7.
And by the way, you do see like 99%.
Right.
You do.
So like someone will say that like, you do see everything. And that's like one of those shows that's different from all the other reality shows, is that you can literally, like, if you want to, sit at home and watch like
live feeds.
You eat breakfast or like go to bed. But you cannot see energy and little tiny subtleties that only you know how they feel in real life. So for those of us at home sitting and judging someone's behavior on TV, think about that a little bit. Like, you're judging something that you think you know, but you don't know. You don't actually know. These are real people with lives, with feelings. And that's what I still to this day love to watch, all these reality shows. But I very much understand that these people are people who have lives and feelings, and they have families at home and they have friends. Like, let's not bash these people on the internet. I mean, take Love Island, for example. There have been multiple suicides that have happened.
I know, it's crazy.
Not only the host of the UK, the original host, but like multiple contestants, which is crazy just because like you come out of a show and then you have all these people online pretending like they know your whole life.
Yeah.
And it's really sad.
So sad. So I don't know if you know this, but I took about 6 or 7 months post Big Brother to do my own work on myself. But after that, I'd say for about 3 years, the majority of my clientele are people that have had traumatic experiences on reality shows. So I've worked with Bachelor, Bachelorette, Love Island, Survivor, Big Brother. I've worked with a lot of these people because there is not enough emotional support. And yes, the show does provide you with a psychiatrist after the show, but there is something to be said about like a clinical person sitting with you and then someone that actually experienced it. And the biggest question I always like ask the people when they first get off is what direction do you feel like sits best with you? Do you want to follow this wave and tap into the opportunities that come from this? Or do we want to do some healing and go back to your normal life? There's a lot of different routes that it take, but I find that most of the time when I start working with a new person that was on a show, all they want to do is talk about the things that weren't seen and kind of trauma dump the ins and outs to just like get it off their chest, to feel like they're being heard by someone that would understand that. And yeah, it's not spoken about enough. And I think in the game shows, the ones that the prize isn't love or it's just money and it's Survivor and it's Big Brother, there's so much that happens where there's a reason that sometimes there's a bitter jury. There's a reason that sometimes people can't let things go. It took a really long time for me to like let things go, but there's a reason for that. And it's sometimes much darker and much crazier than people think. Like really crazy. Like, okay, another really hot take. God, I'm going to get killed for all of this. Hopefully he never sees it. But like, you know, America's favorite player again. He played such an amazing game, but is like, you know, when you become head of household, you get an album. You get to pick like what album you want to listen to. And I don't know if it's good gameplay to be like going through the songs on his HOH album or my HOH album and finding lines of songs that have to do with like falling in love and having me listen to them and being like, wait, this part. Like those are things that I'm a very vulnerable person. And at least especially at the time, I was so desperate, I guess, for male validation in a really big way. And for him to maybe see that, it's the option is two things. Either one, he meant those things, or two, he didn't. And that was gameplay. And if that's the case, we're celebrating that. Like we are honoring the fact that, you know, it's so weird to me. I think about like my future children, my future daughter. I would be like, I would fucking want to kill him. Like, and my parents did, by the way, like they did, you know, want to kill this person. But it's just at this time of my life and this age, I hope that maybe the amount of reflection that I've done on the situation is something that everyone on my cast has done and they can take like ownership. I think I just had to do it faster because I got out of there and was like, oh my God, I'm so unwell. Like no one had to tell me twice. The second I walked out of there, I was like, holy shit, I lost myself fully. But yeah, I mean, it was the best learning experience of my life. It was exactly what I needed at that time in my life to become who I am today. But fuck, like rewatching it, thinking about all of these like nuances, I'm like, no, why do people not hold shitty men accountable for things?
Yeah, I think when you're just watching a show, you're really, it's like watching it for entertainment value and like egging things on.
Totally.
Things that if they happened to the person watching, they wouldn't be happy. You know what I mean? Like if,
oh my God,
if somebody experienced that, they wouldn't like it. But watching somebody else and you can remove yourself from like, oh, that's not a person, that's just a contestant.
And not only that, take it a step further. Not only was I not a person, I'm just a contestant, but I was fucking weird. Like, it's the year is 2018. I'm a life coach. I'm 24. I've gone through my whole certification program. People at that point in life were like, what the fuck is a life coach? And she's 24. She's telling people what to do. Now I think people realize that that's not necessarily like how it works. But I didn't know it all. And it was so like new for that time. I started a demographic of people that started getting Christy the season after me. Like, you know, they began bringing in Brittany, the hypnotherapist. They started bringing in people that have that weird kooky music in the background. And I'm so happy about that. The woo-woo people. But to be honest, it's like they take advantage of it in a way. And they should have. Like, I really was like so unwell. But it's hard when that becomes what people remember of you or know of you. And they really, most of the people that watch Big Brother are like middle of America, right? So like LA, New York, people that would maybe understand at the time what I was doing. Most people were like, this girl's so sick. Like, she's so unwell. Yeah. And it's like, you know, hard to hear that. But I'm glad that at least in today's world, like if someone goes on the show that is in my wheelhouse, people are like, oh my God, I love her vibe. And it's like,
it's very different.
You're welcome, by the way.
It's very different now. And like you said, it depends where the person is that's watching or listening. Because somewhere like we are LA, it's like every third person you meet is in this like spiritual community in a sense. But yeah, there's going to be people that live somewhere where that's just not
weird. Yeah.
a thing. What was like some of the weirdest comments that you got about you, like
after the show?
Yeah.
I mean, I've said this before, but like there weren't weird comments. Everything that people said was true. Like that, and there's so many people. I get so frustrated with people that come off of these shows and don't take ownership for anything, because as insane as I was that season and a little kooky, I knew subconsciously what I was doing the whole time. I just didn't feel the consequences of it because I'm like, well, I'll be here another 100 days. Like, I just didn't feel like I needed to address it. But people just really are quick to blame everything outside of themselves. And luckily, I had that background before going in. So I remember my parents and all my friends telling me, they're like, Kaitlyn, Twitter is freaking out. They're like, she's not going to be okay. She's going to be hiding in a corner when she sees what people say about her. And they're all laughing. They're like, Kaitlyn's literally going to agree. Like, she's going to agree. And I did. Like, I started seeing this stuff and I was like, oh my God, they're so right. And that was such a gift. Like, and I think I remember I tweeted something when I like first got out. I got my phone back and I was like, well, guys, that was weird. I'm going to take some time for myself. Have seen all the feedback. You guys are all right. And I think people were like, oh my God, that's really funny. She's not making excuses for it.
I think that's what happens. It's like if you came off and you were defensive about it, people are going to say more. But if you're just like,
I agree.
Thanks for the comments. I'm going to go work on that a little bit. People are like, oh, okay. Like
good for her.
Self-aware.
Yeah.
I love that. I think so. And obviously you being a life coach, that translates into you being like, okay, well,
I can accept it. Yeah.
Work on whatever I need to work on. Whereas if you did the defensive thing, people would be like,
well, who is she?
I'm not going to go. Yeah. So like,
totally.
Really just being you.
No. And and that's the other thing. Like, I was being so me to like a fault. Like, I shouldn't have been that me. Like, we would all make jokes when I came out and they're like, I should have really settled down. And honestly, to be fair, in hindsight, I genuinely thought I was like at sleepaway camp with my friends. I was like, oh my God, I'm making friends and we're like on TV and I'm not here to play a game. I completely put that out the door, which is so dumb, right? But I wasn't meant to be there for long. None of that was...
No, I think some people just want to go and have fun and some people are so competitive. Not everyone is meant to be so competitive.
No, but like I thought I was going to be, but like the second you walk in the door.
I'll call you back for All Stars.
Here's the thing. With every passing year, truly, I'm further and further away from wanting to do that.
I think. Would you, like if you got a call tomorrow, hey, we are filming an All Star season, come back. Like what would you say? Being you who you are today, like who you are now.
Yeah, I would.
You guys heard that?
But truly, with every passing day and like things I have going on in my business, like it's not as easy of a decision anymore. And truly, like, let's talk about the puzzle for a hot second. Like, me not completing a 7-piece puzzle on national television and that being my demise. Let's be so for real. There's something I love. Let's be so for real. They're going to have me do another. And I'm not promising I can complete that. So, like, imagine what would happen then, which, by the way, let's talk about another take. I am the first contestant that was allowed to bring my prescription ADHD medication on the show because it's a stimulant drug. So I've been on ADHD medication since I'm 12. And that was always a thing. Like, they wouldn't allow people to bring, there's something on my lip. Do you see it?
No, it's like invisible probably because I don't see it.
Okay. Anyway.
She's got a hair on her lip.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Just some cute little hair. They basically just never allowed it because they're like, well, people can have an advantage if they're taking their Adderall. And I guess they began to realize in time, and also I think they just really wanted me on the show. They were like, okay, some people like actually need it to be at the level of other people. And that's something I deal with. Like, that is a literal disability that I have. My brain does not work the same as others. So let's take it a step further. I didn't solve the puzzle. My brain doesn't work well with puzzles to begin with. Like, I'm not, one of the ADHD testings that, I don't know if it's changed now because I got it so many years ago, but one of the things they really make you do is like, take like blocks and pieces and like put them together. And it's the way in which you do it and the speed in which you do it. And if you mess up the first time, it's just a whole thing that helps diagnose ADHD. And I don't have, my brain doesn't work like that. So yes, I can do a puzzle, but what would be as under pressure obvious for someone else is not for me. And that was like another big thing that I rewatched now with my boyfriend. I'm like, this is really heartbreaking that something that was so upsetting for me is now like, she's stupid. And in school, like growing up in middle school and high school, I was always the one that got like time and a half on my tests. I had an IEP. I was like in extra help in resource room. Like, me thinking that I'm stupid or that I don't like the way my brain operates has always been a big point of contention for me in my journey of self-love. And for that to be highlighted in such a big way I've leaned into it, right? Like, I laugh at it. I make the jokes.
But that couldn't have been an easy thing to deal with if that's the one thing that you were like self-conscious about growing up, and now the whole world is like
making fun of me
with it.
Yeah.
That can't be easy for anybody. It's like,
it wasn't.
Probably watch and laugh at it, but like, I'm sure right at that moment you were like, oh my God.
Well, I pushed it down so much. I just turned it into a joke. So like, I didn't really address it until like several years later. But just like really tough. Again, like this big like jokes on me. And like, I'm a very light person to begin with. So like, I'm able to be self-aware. I'm able to laugh at the joke. I'm able to be the brunt of the joke. But again, around the topic of rewatching, it's like this older version of myself being like, poor, like feeling for myself a little bit and like honoring and trying to like give space for the growth that has happened. But yeah, so point is, if they ask me back for All Stars, people need to give me a little bit of grace if I end up not being able to.
A little extra time.
No, by the way, and all my friends made the joke. They're like, by the way, she should be back in the house because they didn't give her time and a half. And that's fucked up because she has an IEP. And I'm like, by the way, I agree.
Wait, this is perfect timing as you're taking a sip because I do have to do a little sponsored break for Sunset Drip. We're staying caffeinated during the podcast. If you would like $5 off of your Sunset Drip, a Vietnamese cold brew made in California, brewed in Vietnam, use code Jackie for $5 off. You can go to their website or their Instagram. I love it. It's so good. Right?
Brewed in Vietnam. No, it's really good. I like mine. We have different flavors, but
yeah, you just have the black coffee and I have the condensed milk version I love Vietnamese coffee so much.
It's really good.
So, okay, well, we did a bunch of overshares and hot takes, which is great.
We're done.
I know. I'm sure we could keep going all day. I love these. I love talking about all of this. I want to move on to Ask and You Shall Receive.
Sure.
So I ask a bunch of questions on my TikTok, my podcast TikTok, and the ones that get like the most engagement or the most comments, like I will take those and then I'll ask my guest.
Cool.
So the one I have for you, this is already something I had posted before. if someone comes to you for advice, like a friend, I mean, I know you're a life coach too, but I mean, just even like a friend just comes to you for advice and they never actually take your advice. If they keep coming to you for advice, what do you do? How do you handle?
Well, I mean, the first thing that you ask is, are you asking because you want to implement change? Like sometimes people come to you for advice not actually wanting it and just wanting a space to vent. So honestly, asking them before they even begin, hold up, do you need me to be like critically thinking right now because you actually want advice that you're going to be taking into consideration and acting on? Or do you just want me to be a good listening ear for you to vent? You could do either.
It's a great question.
It's the truth, though.
Most people don't even think about that before they even start to vent. So
of course.
It's actually really good for that person to
be like, am I actually trying to
want to change? Okay, so let's say the person says, yeah, I do want to change. I do want to implement change.
Yeah.
And they vent about whatever and you give them your advice and
they don't take it,
which, you know, sometimes people just have their own opinion, but then they like keep coming back to you with that like same issue over and over again. Like maybe they're going through like a bad relationship or something. Like, how do you handle, like, what do you tell them when you're kind of like over it at that point?
Well, I would first start with, let's not get over it, because sometimes people need multiple sessions of talking about something in order to implement change at all. So if this is really one of your friends and someone you care about, I'd have you practice patience. The person that's getting annoyed, I'd say, obviously, I'm feeling triggered by all of this. It's annoying that you're not taking my advice, whatever the internal thing is, and just say, maybe I need to word this differently, or maybe I need to hold more space for the fact that she will hear it when she or he is meant to hear it. I think that sometimes, like, it doesn't mean that the entire conversation is unsuccessful if they don't take your advice at all. Like, it just means that they weren't ready to hear it. And I don't think you should give up on a friend like that. Because sometimes, like, you could hear the same thing over and over again, and then one day it just hits you differently. And you're like, oh, yeah, okay, now I hear it. So if it's really someone that you love and care about, I'd say don't really give up on that. That being said, if you find yourself loving and caring about them and also being annoyed, I'd be honest. I'd literally just be honest and be like, hey, I'm allocating a lot of excellent ideas and energy into this, and I suppose you try one. If not, like, maybe ask someone else, maybe they have a better idea or a different idea.
Yeah.
Like, I'd make it very much about maybe someone has a better idea than me, because, like, obviously, like, mine aren't resonating with you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Just
not hurting their feelings.
Exactly. You're hurting your own, but like, you're not.
So, like, not taking on extra energy that you don't have to expend on a person.
Exactly.
Sometimes people will just want to vent a lot, and it's like, I'm not in the place to receive
hear it. Yeah,
right now.
totally.
I'm dealing with my own stuff. So that's great. Do you think that because you are a life coach, like when your friends, like your actual just personal friends, really come to you, do they like want that like Kaitlyn life coach advice, or more like just, hey, just talk to me like a friend? Like, do you differentiate how you give advice?
Well, I honestly do the thing that I just said before. I'll be like, or is this just a space where we're venting? Like, I have to ask, honestly, because I don't want to give unsolicited feedback. And I also, one thing about life coaches, we actually don't give advice. Like, that would be me saying I know it all, and I fucking don't. But I am trained to ask you questions to make you realize that you have the answers. So yes, I still, without them realizing, like, I will ask questions to guide them in a direction that they want to go. But I do always start a conversation by like, okay, what's the deal? Are we looking for feedback? But actually, funny enough, now most of my friends and family know to be like, I need your feedback on something. Or they'll just be like, I need to vent. So I don't really have to ask anymore, which is funny.
That's
but
nice.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna take that. I do have a friend that like me and her like will we'll be really open with each other and vent to each other, but we always ask, like, do you have the space for me to vent right now? Like, we always ask each other,
which is so healthy.
But I noticed that most people don't, like, they don't even know to ask that. Like, they don't even understand that, like, they might be an energy vampire, and it's like, I don't have like this space for you. I want to be the kind of friend who always has the space for someone, but realistically, like, we all have our own stuff. So if you do have somebody who's constantly dumping their stuff on you and never asking you if you're okay with it, it turns into a one-sided, like, I'm not your therapist kind of energy.
I will say, you would be, just like energetically sitting here, you would be an excellent coach. You really would. I mean, like, you have the demeanor for it. I think anyone that does any sort of podcasting, radio, whatever, they have a level of like conversational energy that's really good for coaching. So if you ever want to go down another path,
I've thought about it. And
really,
a lot of my followers know because I've posted about things, but I've like wanted to be a sort of like mindset coach. I'm writing a book on manifestation right now.
Beautiful.
It's my favorite subject. So in that way, like, I kind of went down that route like very briefly and stopped, not because I felt like I didn't want to necessarily do it, but I just felt like it wasn't the right timing. You know, everything like happens in the right timing. And this podcast was like more on my mind, or more like my passion. But I love helping people. And I love people realizing their own potential. So I thought, like, maybe the avenue for me to do it is actually through the podcast.
100%.
But I have definitely thought about like going that route, and I might still one day. Like, I'm very flowy. So like, if I wake up one day and I'm like, you know what, I really just want to pursue this coaching business. Like, I'll give you a call. Maybe give me some pointers. But I appreciate you telling me that, because you didn't even know this about me.
No, not at all.
Like, considered before.
You should. I mean, I honestly feel like people that are in the space that like I'm in, it's going to come no matter what. For me, it was really young, and it just was what it was. But if you feel like there's any part of you that's like meant to be doing something in like a deeper, more spiritual, more like aligned way, it's going to happen regardless. I just wouldn't resist it.
I think it just happens for everyone at a different time through different avenues. And I'm very open to like whatever is calling me at that time is like what I'm going to do. I wrote like a whole course, like a digital course. I was like going to sell it and do a whole thing. And then I didn't. And I still have it, because it really, like, it was just like the timing of it. And I'm glad I didn't, because when I look back at what I have now, I would completely change it.
Well,
so I'm like glad that I didn't, because I think what I needed to do was I needed to actually create it. I almost feel like I created it because I needed it to create it for myself. And maybe I wasn't meant to ever be shared.
Totally.
While I was creating this course, it was all about manifestation. While I was creating it, it got me thinking about certain things that I'm doing or I'm not doing within my own life. So I almost feel like I just created the course for me.
That's exactly what happens.
That's why I didn't release it. And I think it was just the timing. And so now I know that if I do want to create something for other people, like, I already have the experience in creating it. So now I can just make it better if I want to, and then do it. But
it always could be better though. Like my course that I released after Big Brother, about a year and a half after Big Brother, it's called Defunk Yourself. And I made it before I was on Big Brother. And I subconsciously think it was for the version of me after Big Brother that needed it, because I did that course literally 5 times in a row. And I'm like, I'm so good. Like, I'm so much better. And I wrote this for myself, like a previous version. And I think at 30 years old, there's things that are different about, like, I could add to it or not add to it. But I think it's also just like a moment in time, and it's special to have something that isn't edited and touched, and it's just where you were at, because someone else is at that exact place that you were at when you wrote that, and like nothing needs to be edited.
So true.
So like, don't just like, and also you could release like 10 courses.
I know.
Like that can be one.
Well, I'll definitely give it a think.
That
we've talked.
Give it a think.
And speaking of doing something like in the past, the final segment is note to younger self. So if you were looking at younger Kaitlyn, and whether that's younger like a kid or even the version of you that was on Big Brother, whichever version you want to look at, what would you say to her?
I did one of those like Instagram trends of this where it was like I got coffee with my younger self.
That too, yeah.
Yeah, mine was like telling her like, well, you still struggling in school, and you know you're gonna struggle in school and it's gonna be tough, but get used to it because you're gonna fucking fail a 7-piece puzzle on national TV. So it was really, I actually really liked that one. But honestly, just along the lines of like, you are so perfect the way you are. And this entire journey that you're having in life and school and friends and whatever, like you have this confidence within you that you don't even doubt. Continue it. Don't change. Don't do anything. Like exactly as you are is what's going to help you succeed in life. And I think the younger version of me would be like, no, I know. Like, of course, that's what's going to happen. I think that I've always had this very strange, unwarranted confidence when I truly shouldn't have. Like at a point where I was not the smartest, the heaviest. Like I was. There was no reason for me to be like, I'm so hot and so cool at all. But I was. That's how I felt. So I just say to her, continue in that delusional mindset because it will be the thing that helps you connect to more people and become the version of yourself that you will become.
Delulu is the Solulu.
It really is.
And with that, I would love for you to just let everyone know where to find you and if they, want to use any of your services, how they can find you.
Yeah. Wait, when does this come out?
This will air sometime this summer.
Okay. So
June or July.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at Kaitlyn_Herman. You can go to my website, katecoaching.com for any coaching, one-on-one services or group coaching. But I do have my business coming out. I have a new business coming out called Rescue. To the Rescue is the website. Rescue is RESCU, and it's all aromatherapy-based products. So if you are having anxiety, if you are sick, whatever the issue is, you have this product to the rescue. It's going to help heal whatever that. I actually bought one for you. Oh, my bags. Yeah, I have these inhalers that are sick. So basically it's like I'm trying to help people get away from vape culture in a sense also with the hand fixation, and they're picking up something else, and it's all natural peppermint, essential oil, spearmint, rosemary. It's literally so good. I'm giving you a sample. Hopefully by summer with all the freaking tariffs, I hope that my product is finished by then. But yeah, you can DM me, you can email me. You can follow that Instagram and stay tuned. But
oh my God, cute. I'm excited to try. I love all those like herbal remedies.
Oh my God, you're going to love it.
I love essential oils. Thank you so much for coming on, for spilling the beans, for talking about something that, was probably uncomfortable back then. And now you're just like reminiscing and I super appreciate it.
Of course.
And thank you guys so much for listening, for being here. We'll be back next time on Dare to Overshare. Have a good one.
Bye.